This time around, MVP going to be on the blue side, so they don't have a chance to destroy the pick ban themselves. Maybe Jin Air can give them that opportunity.
I think Jin Air might just opt back into banning standard stuff. The Swain was the adjustment ban by MVP that seemed to start the cascade. There's a lot of Nova fans in the crowd. I imagine they may be former classmates of Nova, just because there were so many of them.
How do you know that?
I'm just inferring.
Yeah, it definitely seems that way. It says here Hawaiian pizza is the best. I'm not even joking with you guys.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah!
That's why that little pizza was there. It's because of Ian. He said it before.
I actually forget how you feel about Hawaiian pizza.
I love it. It's great.
Yeah, all right.
No,
we are
it's
in
fantastic.
consensus here. We believe in Aatrox, Talia, and Nocturne, red side bans, and we believe in Hawaiian pizza.
This is the duo of LCK that will always be on point in terms of our Hawaiian pizza. There's a great one, actually, in the Farn District. A great place that makes Hawaiian pizza over there. Bonnie's, actually, if you're ever interested, over at HBC. Anyway, back to the game. Swain coming in here.
Not the most interesting first pick, but definitely one of the most reliable is this Swain on the blue side. A lot of junglers have been loving the Trundle recently. It'd be a bit of a takeaway because we know all about this Swain passive and the Trundle pillar synergy. You consider yourself a pathing jungler. I'm thinking of Tarzan and Score. You're a big fan of the Trundle. So the Kindred priority, of course, is abated because the Kindred is banned. We're going to see a Trundle Tahm Kench first round by Jin Air.
It's a couple, well, actually, just the one pick, the Tahm Kench, that was banned on the blue side this time around. So you can tell that Jin Air definitely has high priority in terms of the Tahm Kench, so they will pick that up. It's going to be good against a Morgana. You know, someone gets bound up or soul shackled or anything like that. You can always just gobble up whoever that is. And they're going to steal away the Ezreal away from Teddy.
Does remove some of the flex pick nature of that Swain. We see ADD playing it in solo queue, and Ian is 2-1 on the pick. Sorry, 2-4 on the pick this season, is most played. So while it hasn't necessarily led to the most victories, he's been pretty reliable on it. And here we go. We were talking with the Korean casters about this before the game started. We know that Teddy has played the Jin already into the Ezreal matchup. I think if you're against a marksman, there's many good matchups for the Jin. Jin has always been a good matchup into the Ezreal because Ezreal can't disengage Jin's damage like he can with almost any other champion, let alone marksman. He might use the Arcane Shift, but it turns out he's got 4 follow-up shots, the Jin, to take him down.
Definitely going to be an interesting one. We saw a highlight reel of Pilot playing the Ezreal, so it's not only just taking the Ezreal away from Ezreal Tahm Kench, it's also Pilot is a bit of a beast on that pick. That's a nice little picture of Yondu, I suppose, without his hair. Makes sense.
Still pretty closely cropped these days. That was hard to say. But not quite the bold nature of when they were in the promotion tournament in spring.
Whoa.
It's a gladplane.jpg. Hooray! We could be seeing it again very soon.
A little bit early, but I enjoy your enthusiasm.
Gladplane has been co-opted by the London Spitfire as well, so Gladplane all over the place. I know some people had some words for it.
Taking our memes.
Everyone can have some fun. Undersight can have
but
the Gladplane suit.
But they're our memes.
Oh, well.
I know, it's fine. Share the fun with the world. That's what it's all about. Spread the love. This time around, they are going to ban Zoe, so they're doing their part in terms of spreading the love.
Now, solo lanes have not been opted into yet for Jin Air. The Rise was one that Grace really didn't pilot to too much success. We saw him a few days ago. He's going to be playing it again, I believe, because it was the Swain matchup last time. The anti-synergy we felt of no Realm Warp usage and a Vladimir just diving in with Predator and not being followed up on was a problem for Jin Air versus BBQ. It's going to be the Swain versus Rise matchup. I'm hoping Grace a bit more in tune with his teammates this time around.
Mundo hovered down to the last second. They pick it up this time. How are you feeling about this, Mundo? Do you feel like it works out a little bit better for ADD this time around?
It's, I think, definitely a bit more encouraged than game number 1. And game number 1, I don't think it really accomplished anything. This time, it can definitely distract the Rise for a while. It can tank most of Jin's damage. Jin does very little against Mundo, and if Mundo ever gets in melee range, Jin just has to run away because it just dies incidentally. Seeing MVP's jungle choice, an old favorite of Yondu, so he's going to be going for the Skarner. I imagine just on the closest target, maybe just the Tahm Kench here, because actually getting in range of Jin is going to be very difficult for the Skarner.
You know, Tahm Kench, we might see him go for the cleanse Tahm Kench, which we've seen in the past, just to deal with some of the other CC they have on the side so he doesn't get caught up too much. But a lot of QSS purchases will also come in.
A lot of lane counters left open against Mundo. The Darius noticeably does fall through, and it has not been a big pick in recent memory. Someone wants to return to the Gnar, play the Ruined King Gnar. Most likely going to be visited here. That gets them a very strong top lane and the potential to set up some siege with the Jin. Not going to be the strongest siege ever. It is only Rise Jin for the siege play. But I think this is going to be largely around winning bot lane, as Jin can have a field day against Ezreal, Tahm Kench or no.
You look at the front line on the side of MVP, definitely a bit of a scary one. Lots of lockdown in terms of the Mundo, Skarner, and the Swain. So part of that Skarner is, you know, you want to get on top of the Tahm Kench, the main target, but it also just makes a lot of the people on the side of Jin Air have to purchase that QSS at a really awkward time in their item builds, usually pretty early on, so they don't get too far behind. And overall, it's a pretty decent choice. You can farm up the jungle quite fast and get on the map early for that level 6.
Bit of a pick comp here from the side of Jin Air. The Trundle Pillar into the Deadly Flourish, and of course Rise. Gives him a lot of pick options, but the pick is also there for MVP. I feel like could be a lot of snowball in the mid game, where you have his pilots Ezreal against this Jin. It's an old favorite of Teddy's. It's fun to see this Hail of Blades Jin on the Rift once more.
Making its way back, already has one win on this champion. We'll see if he can recreate that, or will we go to a game number 3? I'm sure MVP, they didn't look all too disappointed after game number 1. They were just like, well, we screwed up the draft, guys. Sorry about that. Let's try to come back. They should feel like the stronger team. They have the better win rate, but we'll see what they can do if they can recreate the win against Jin Air once again in round number 2. The countdown has started. Let's jump into game number 2.
소환사의 협곡에 오신 것을 환영합니다.
That was a high octave there
Yeah.
for the MVP fans.
Seems like they have a bit of a younger fan base compared to some of the other teams. I mean, overall, the fan bases are usually young, but MVP, a bit younger.
What was your intense fandom when you were young? Like, did you have a sports team or an idol, some sort of fandom? Obviously, Korean culture when it comes to idol culture, a bit different to Western culture, but I'm sure you had something you were a super fan of.
You know, not really, actually. I didn't get into, listening to much music until I was a little bit older. It depends on, like,
Was
what
your
age
life
you
just
think.
silent previously?
Well, I mean, I was the third son of 4 kids, so if something didn't get handed down to me, I just didn't have it. So I didn't have like an MP3 player very early on. I didn't have my own computer, right? Sharing the family computer.
Did you inherit any family sports teams that everyone was a fan of?
Yeah, I mean, the Yankees, right? Live in New York. My great aunts always liked the Mets, the other team. I'm not even sure if you know what I'm talking about.
No, I do know, actually.
Okay.
I know a little bit about baseball.
Okay.
The Yankees and the Mets, the 2 New York baseball teams.
Okay, there you go. You know a lot more already than I do about soccer, so you're beating me in that facet. But yeah, my dad was a big Yankees fan, so.
I was a Manchester United fan, which instantly polarizes me with most of the chat.
Are they like the Yankees, where they're like the top dogs with all the money, and people just think you're a front runner, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Look at us, both posers.
There you go. We're both fans of only SKT, but now we're only fans of Griffin.
I've been a Griffin fan for weeks now, Valdez.
Hey, I liked them since their second game in LCK. I actually said that, and then you were like, well, I liked them before that when they were
I'm the
Challenger.
hipster, baby. Yes,
Right.
Yondu really wanted that Rift Scuttle. He doesn't get it, and Umti's still running.
This is, well, Seems like the pillar has a bit of a long cooldown. Umti is still like, are you really going to fight this in front of me? And I guess the answer is yes. With the smite still available, as Umti didn't quite have his.
Umti had so many jungle camps he could be clearing, but decided that he wants to be in melee range of Skarner as long as possible.
He just wants to watch, you know?
Will he, in fact, take this? He gets it, yeah.
Some people just like watching instead of doing, you know, Papa?
Bit of a voyeur.
Yeah,
A jungle voyeur.
Umti's that kind of jungler. Oh, now he's trying to get a little piece of the pie.
Well, he does have Ryze now in position to rotate, and the bot lane was pushed up, so definitely rewards for effort here come through for Umti.
He also had the red buff first, started red buff, went over to the scuttle into the second scuttle on the bottom side, which is where Yondu wasn't expecting him to be. Yondu got there a little bit slower because he cleared his left side jungle, so ended up losing his own red, which means that he had a harder time skirmishing against the Trundle.
Teddy actually changed up his first item here. We saw him on Doran Ring just for the mana sustain. Last time he played, he's actually on Doran's Shield this time. I assume he realized he's going to be opting into a lot of Tormented Soil damage from Motive, but does mean his mana sustain is going to be on the lower ebb for the early part of the game.
Yeah, as you say that, he has just about 0 mana.
He's also not gone for Hail of Blades this time. It was Hail of Blades was the keystone he took, which was kind of celebrated on the Jin recently. Hail of Blades, going for celerity and just massive movement speed. Stormrazor first. This could actually just be a visit to a different item build here for Teddy. We'll have to wait and see what his decision is, but surprising to see Fleet Footwork and Doran's Shield start. He did end up selling the Stormrazor. He wasn't able to close the game that well for the side of Jin Air in Game 1 against BBQ, but given the power in that build, I'm surprised to see him go a different selection.
Level 3 Yondu, missing his red buff, looking for a gank, but a nicely placed ward in the top side river means that he is stopped in his tracks. Looks like he did control ward it there and is looking for an invade actually now. MT might find him in the jungle. Very early sweeper by MT. Says, nope, get out of here. No wards for you.
It's basically battle warding at this point as Umti. A lot of shadowing. Feels good about his lanes. We already talked about Gnar beating Mundo, and we were confident in the Jin versus Ezreal. The moment that Ryze shows pressure in mid lane, Umti's got 3 lanes to jungle around with pressure, and that is why he has played such this extended battle ward, and he's going to continue.
Yeah. I mean, press the attack Trundle can get really annoying.
Yeah.
Yondu, oh, I thought he was stuck there against the wall. Turns out he was not. Here's the collapse, and Ian is going to get there first. Nice pathing on the flash by Umti means that he will get out of there, but did have to burn his flash.
That's the first time there was a bit of a disconnect with his lanes while he had the priority. They, of course, will have the shorter distance to travel to get to the enemy jungle. And now with his flash down and Skarner's still up, it's much more difficult for Umti to double down on his invades. It's only really been to the tune of 2/3 or 3/4 of a jungle camp, separating him and the Skarner, about 4 CS being 1 camp. So you'd say, at least when it comes to the Skarner's impact, it's certainly been minimal, but it's Skarner farming to 6, so not like he's shut down a Graves or something similar.
Yeah. Slow and steady for the Skarner. Always reminded of Ambition whenever I see the Skarner. Definitely one of his favorite champions, but also for Yondu. Yondu, though, this time around, he's played a lot more Sejuani and Trundle. Sejuani, not even banned in the first round. Could have picked that up, but they delayed their jungle pick for the 5th pick, actually, this time around. So didn't get a chance to pick it up this time.
It definitely seemed a lot about Denial, the Trundle pick, to deny over Trundle Sej's top lane.
Well, that was a fast flash.
He knew it was coming.
Not having any part of that.
Disengages from this. They deny over the Trundle Swain duo that, of course, MVP would probably have been prizing. It is at the cost of win rate, of course. Yondu 0-5 on the Trundle this season, whereas Sejuani has always been more his speed. But Yondu's not going to get that one. He's on the Skarner. Umti himself had some decent Trundle games. 1 and 2.
No smite here for Yondu. That's going to be the easy pickup for Umti. And this time around, Grace is going to get the earlier rotation. So another buff stolen away by Umti.
Pressure, pressure, pressure from Umti, even without the flash. Bold, but level 5 was Yondu. Teddy continues to push bot side. He's got the BF sword. Could still be the Stormrazor, even though we don't see the Hail of Blades invested in this time. Grace pushes up, and just a win lane, win game start for the side of Jin Air.
lots of farm here for MT. He's going to hit level 6 first. Not a lot of camps for him to pick up. We'll see if he, with his second smite, wants to head over towards that Drake. You already see that Yondu is poking his head around that area. Just wanted to get a defensive control ward down.
There's very little to talk about in this game. 3 winning lanes, pushing in with the Trundle. Trundle's flash being down, not dissuading Umti, who is one of our most aggressive-minded junglers here in the LCK. And if they can keep this map pressure up and start going for picks with either the Rise Rune Prison or the Deadly Flourish, it'll be all about what Jin Air can turn this into. They're certainly considering just a Drake start here onto the Cloud Drake.
Might as well. I mean, you're feeling confident. You hit level 6. You clear out the vision with the Scrying Plant. You don't get the Spire there. So he's just going to try to hide the fact that he's over on this side of the map. Take down the Cloud Drake essentially for free. And Umti having a fantastic start to this game. Jin Air just about 500 gold ahead. And that Cloud Drake will help the Trundle be even faster around the jungle.
And this is definitely how Jin Air need to continue the game. Continue to push, continue to take free Drakes. Yondu needs to make a Skarner ult soon to start arresting the tempo that Umti and the side of Jin Air have been able to draft and so far put together. He's revealed on the top side. There's potentially something that the enemy team can interact with, but Umti's going for a back. So for now, at least, it's going to be just defensive pathing from the side of Jin Air.
Yeah, I mean, Umti had a lot of gold left over. It was interesting that he delayed the team out, went for the challenging smite first, just to make sure he could win any trades if he had to. Makes sense with how aggressive he was being. Picks up a full Tiamat now, and he's going to be clearing the jungle even faster.
Probably going to be a bit better in killing the Mountain Drake than the Tiamat also. Be pretty close, all things considered, but you're right. He seems to know what he wants to do here so far, Umti, and has not been collapsed upon to the tune of his death just yet. We just want to see some teamfight execution from Grace. Again, to me, his Rise was pretty poor in the loss against BBQ. Team communication has seemed better for Jin Air, but they had ultimates to engage with in game number 1. This is probably going to be a bit more about the pathing, a bit more macro-intensive is the draft here from the side of Jin Air. Weird thing to say out loud, but the reality when it was compared to Nocturne Shen.
Well, Yondu going for this one. He is diving under that turret, and, well, the binding is going to miss. Not sure if that's going to matter, and actually it definitely does because the damage would have finished Teddy off. So unfortunately, Motive coming in, Flash Ignite, but misses the binding, means that Teddy gets out alive.
Ends up being an equal summoner trade as well. Double Flash on both sides, although crucially, Nova and Teddy both lacking in that. On the top side here, Grace rotating.
Kind of an awkward pillar there as ADD is just funneled into the left side, the safer side to escape from. They saw Grace as well, so they forced the TP, immediately back off.
He's going to pick up top side control for now at least. Control wards to speak of as well. Very deep one, actually a lane ward essentially here onto the Krug camp to spot the Skarner rolling through on Predator. Ward that you can always employ against both the Skarner and the Rammus, or basically any Predator jungler. The Stormrazor build was adjusted to be built out of double daggers. Still a chance he goes for Rapid Fire Cannon Infinity Edge, but really are expecting the Stormrazor from Teddy.
Here we go, nice little ultimate, gonna lay down some fantastic damage, both Motive and Pilot. Pretty low here. Notice that Yondu is nearby, but the push is coming on in, gonna force that True Shot Barrage. Teddy getting really aggressive in here.
But the Tom Kench, so not too worried. Just trying to get the health totals down and force a recall out of Pilot before he has a big item purchase.
Fourth bounce of the grenade. Might just force him out of this one.
Where's the Deathfire touch when you need it?
I know. It's been a long time. Feels like a long time.
I'm a Rumble main, you know this.
It's only one season, actually. 1 year.
I'm a Rumble main, so I'm still feeling the pain.
Yeah.
Comment ain't what it used to be, as we're looking for a turret dive onto ADD.
Okay, well this time around, looks like he's dead meat. There you go, first blood over to the side of Sowan in the top. Here comes Yondu though, looking for a follow-up. Does have the Impale. MT getting pretty low here, but he is gonna flash out of this one. Might just be Sowan the only one, but he is gonna flash out as well. 3 flashes to get out of that one just for the first blood.
Well, the flash was taken down, but Teddy's bot lane getting a lot of farm and turret damage done as well. So that's why you invest the flashes. Usually it'd be a steep cost, but Teddy getting all this free farm, and surely this turret will go down very, very soon. Still big advantage the side of Jin Air.
It's time they're gonna rotate the Mundo on over. You mentioned how Jin alone doesn't really have too much fun against the Mundo, so suppose for now the turret will stay alive.
Watch the replay of the top lane play. They knew they had a lot of chance to kill the Mundo here. Very, very low already. Executioner's calling means there was healing reduction, so goodbye there. Then Yondu rolls in, doesn't have his flash. We saw it used and traded in the bot side. But these are, of course, 3 members that weren't involved in the double flash that happened. So1 tries to hold on, hoping that he could hop or get the movement speed of the transformation and get out. But he has to use a summoner as well. We'll see if MVP can set up a power play now around the Rift Herald, maybe to trade upon all the flashes being down.
They set up a nice amount of vision, at least, with that push. Motive pushes in, uses all of his wards up on the top side.
Can't give too much ward credit, though. Look at how many control wards Jin Air have on the map, and right now, there's actually none down by the side of MVP. They actually don't have any, just 2 in inventory and a stack here for motives, so want to find some ways to actually get some map control. Ian gets some shallow control around mid.
Yeah, both with his very early sweeper and Nova coming in here clearing out so much. Might be in a bit of trouble here. Is going to ult onto Yondu. Bit of a 3v3 action going on. They're looking for motive now, but here comes Ian. They decide to try to turn onto that Scuttle Crab. Even going to smite it here is Yondu still looking for someone to impale, but has not found that target just yet.
Eminently frustrated, getting close, but no flash means no cigar. So1 still split pushing. He's got Blade of the Ruin King and the Merc Treads. Doesn't need much help to boss around ADD, but he doesn't have the Executioner's calling just yet. Looked like he had the healing reduction earlier. It wasn't actually employed. And that means that for now, at least the Mundo, he's not having a great time, but his chances of being solo killed are a bit lower.
Yeah, but So1 able to pick up that first blood turret. Already has the Blade of the Rune King as well as a ton of CS. Is doing well for himself. We'll see what he picks up with that extra gold. First off, going to take an Ocean Drake. Seems like with the pressure they have on the map, they're confident that they can get whatever the 3rd Drake will be. Not worried to take this one out. See what it will be. Looks like another Ocean. Why not? Lots of water today.
They got the map control, they're taking the objectives. This is the Jin Air that was absent against BBQ Olivers. They've been quite measured in this series. Again, game 1, the comp babied them. It was very easy to execute. This time, win lane, win game again. When you're in against opposition who is down and struggling near the bottom of the table like you are, I really do encourage this scenario. Jin Air is a team that right now is in 9th spot. They're facing the 8th place team. If you go for a comp that has win lane, win game, there's always the potential that you just snowball so hard in the laning phase that the late game team fighting doesn't really matter.
Love the patience and caution here from Grace. He knows, okay, we don't have vision in the top side. It must be a Skarner looking for a gank, right? I don't have QSS. I don't have Flash. If I don't have either of those things, I might just die. The Predator comes in, and unfortunately, it is the Skarner with Flash Predator. Trying to stand tall as Grace, but a 2-shot barrage. But look at this! Jin Air showing up! 2 TPs coming on in. Gonna get the Devour here on a So1 who was pretty low. He's not gonna live in the end, but that will be 2 extra kills. Going to the side of Jin Air. Pilot, now the only one left available, is gonna have the support of ADD at least. Who's now pushing forward, looking for some cleavers. Not gonna follow up though. Ends up being a 3-for-2 trade in terms of Jin Air.
The double teleport play there was massive. So1 was already in Mega Gnar. They were not expecting the Gnar ultimate back into the turret. I was able to clean out multiple. Teddy has to flash during it. And then, you know, his accuracy on the ultimate not massive, but he's got Stormrazor. The auto attacks are the big thing. Yondu, he's like, finally I'm going to get my man. He had the ward over the wall. They open up with this one. They get the engagement. They do eventually kill the rise through all the damage, but watch this Gnar comes in as Mega Gnar. And while Teddy is there, also he can run away from the shackles. They're able to clean up, and while Teddy can't set this up for multiple kills on the curtain call, the curtain was already called on MVP's chances of winning the 5v5.
Teddy misses the first 2 shots, decides he'll go for the much easier target of ADD on the Mundo. Jin Air, after winning that fight, looks like they want to pick another objective up. The Rift Herald will be taken essentially for free. Did move 4.5 members up towards that Rift Herald, so they push everybody up and they get another objective.
See if they might just instant charge the top side. Haven't seen the turret help, maybe it's not necessary. But now not investing it there, but look how many control wards they're playing around on the top side as well. Laning phase for Jin Air has been a really big problem. Grace recently with counterpick has had some great games, but we are also, of course, papering over a lot of games where he was crushed. The Yasuo game against BBQ, definitely one he'd want to forget. In this sort of a game with 3 winning lanes, they've been all over the place.
Looking for Ian here. Ooh, gonna miss that deadly flourish, but it's not gonna matter as the damage comes out. No flash that time around on Ian. Means that there was no escape for the Swain.
Stormrazor does so much damage earlier on the Jin. Grace is on the top side, taking down a turret. Everything falling into place for Jin Air. How about a mid lane turret to make it 3?
Well, the competition was good in game 1. This time, I mean, it's a lot more even in terms of the pick ban, and Jin Air once again looking really clean, just rolling over MVP here. Gonna get another fantastic charge and another big objective. I love Teddy just waiting, staying opened up, saying, I dare you to come close to the turret. You'll take a shot to the face. They get 2 turrets in the mid lane in the span of 30 seconds.
I'm just so impressed with Jin Air because we haven't seen this Jin Air all year, let alone all season. Game number 1, you can say draft. Too easy to execute. MVP didn't get enough out of the draft. In this game, the drafts are very even in terms of late game, but Jin Air says, okay, we have winning lanes in the early game. We have presence, and was applying that presence very early with his battle warding. They got the lead as the draft kind of dictated, but the vision has been so clean. The decision-making around objective play has also been clean. We mentioned their siege, not anything to really be too impressed around. Teddy opens up, holds on to the ultimate. They get the double charge out of Shelly. They're able to take down 2 turrets, and now the gold lead in just a 3-kill advantage for Jin Air is over 5,000 gold.
Yeah. It's ridiculous at this point. So-On picked up his mortal reminder. He says, I know it's Mundo. I'm going to just try to shut him down. Okay, MT. All right. Just deciding he wants to show off a little bit with the stopwatch, I suppose. Bit of a fat finger there. But Jin Air, fantastic spot for them. Not even the slowest Baron in the world, but they're just considering going in here. Gonna try to lock down Yondu, but the Black Shield is there to make sure he does not get stopped.
Jade is gonna pick away the red buffs. So many buffs this game, let alone the turret's gone the way of Jin Air. Rolling over MVP.
Well, ADD in a bit of trouble here. You look at that crit. ADD taking so much damage. Looking to curve the bullets here is Teddy. Just going to hit that front line and zone everybody out of yet another turret.
And Ian knows he can't teleport and make anything happen. He's going to slowly waddle his way to bot side as another objective goes to the side of Jin Air. MVP in full retreat, no control over the map. They can't even get to their Raptors. They're dreaming of Raptors. Look at the control ward line.
Yeah.
A straight line down around the Raptors means it's just a you shall not pass situation for the side of MVP.
Jin Air, they're trying to make it as clean as possible. They want some other Drake to spawn. They're going to go for the next Ocean Drake, because why not?
The Clean Air meme, for once, actually well applied to Jin Air for 21 minutes.
There you go.
Take a deep breath. Enjoy the Clean Air, Valdez.
That was nice.
It's clean.
It's very clean. Summer here. Generally, the air gets cleaner in Korea after the spring. I've been leaving my windows open. It's been nice, even though it's been hot as all hell here. How about a third Ocean Drake for Jin Air? How does that sound?
Sometimes life's a beach. What can you do? I like how you did a fake laugh into an actual laugh.
Yeah.
Nicely done, Valdez.
It's because I tried to do haha, but then I messed that one up and it sounded a little bit weird, so I laughed at my own laugh. It gets weird over here sometimes in Korea.
Well, Jin Air just roll through. MVP, barring the mother of all Skarner ultimates, really don't have many ways to make this happen. I don't think the Swain teleport flank will work, but you might as well try it. You do have 10 stacks and Azonias, so Ian has definitely been an onlooker in this game.
Yeah, I mean, we've been seeing Swain be banned out from, you know, even the red side at times in some of these games, as teams that build comps around him that are towards the top of the ladder here just find so much success with that pick. Hasn't shown much in this game, though. See what he can do. By the way, I haven't seen a single binding, lads, this entire game.
So you're saying that maybe substituting out Max, traditionally their best player.
Okay, there you go. He hit one.
All right.
He got empty.
Screw you, Max. You're staying on the bench, mate.
Motive clearly better.
I don't know why I got more Aussie with that one. Well, Jin trying to frontline. Let's rejigger that one.
Yeah, you know, he's been very confident, that's for sure. I mean, he's been, I wouldn't call it overconfident because you do have the Tahm Kench right behind you, but the Jin just charging at the Ezreal and the Skarner in the mid lane, what I saw about 2 minutes ago, that's definitely oozes confidence from the level 13, nearly 300 CS, most in the game, Teddy on the Jin.
Well, you see, Valdez, they are winning in CS in every role, all of them, like everyone.
Wow.
By a lot. Just because MVP can't get to the farm. Remember, the control wards have been super aggressive. MVP, to their credit, put down 3 and say, we're going to get wolves. What you going to do about it? And Jin Air kind of looks at them quizzically and doesn't really understand. But ganking in.
Yeah, trying to get on top of Nova and Umti here. Nova is not even going to get a chance to use that great health. Umti forced to flash here, and ADD, once again, they don't learn, but he doesn't die on the Mundo here. Trying to follow up on the chase here is Pilot as well as Motive. The damage coming out of Grace is also really crazy, but trying to lock them down on the back foot. You can see them continuing the chase. Trying to snipe him out here is Teddy right now. Does get a nice shot onto Motive. Only 1 kill in the end, just go the way of MVP.
From behind, they actually find a way to get the gap closed on the Swain. He was never pressed there from Nova. He was never able to use the gray health and actually turn around. So got popped very early into the equation. By far the best case scenario for MVP. They buy themselves some life. I don't think it's in the service of a comeback, but you got to do what you got to do. We're going to watch the replay of how this happened. I believe it was an aggressive Abyssal Voyage. We get the confirmation here. That was the start of this. But who was pincering who was a question that Jin Air quickly realized.
I mean, they don't have the deep vision in the blue side jungle to really see this. They have the 1 ward pretty deep, but I suppose that the 2 members went through the control wards instead. So not seeing it, thought they could 3v1, but in the end, just a little bit too aggressive from Jin Air.
From there, no further kills, but a lot of resources used from Jin Air defensively that haven't had to be the entire game. We mentioned the Mundo does have a great role as the game goes on. Still, again, plenty of healthy skepticism that MVP can actually re-engineer a fight like that if it's not opted into by the Abyssal Voyage, as Nova did in the last fight. That was actually a lot of damage from the Gnar. It is a full damage Gnar, so I guess we shouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, looking for the Black Cleaver next. Gonna be a nice idea against the Mindu, who has a healthy amount of armor. Thinking about this Baron, mentioned it before, they don't have the fastest one, especially without the full damage Gnar. But they have Rise, you know, Jin Air's not, or rather, Jin is not awful. He's not the best for sure.
They have good turn. Realm Warp, the Rise, the Jin, all of those champions much better at turn than they are at burning the Baron. So we'll see. Seems like Jin Air just going for the same plan, as Teddy doesn't get the Devourers very early, it turns out. A lot of people would have devoured just to decrease the damage onto the Jin, but he has a Vamp Scepter, so I guess can slowly crit his way to some more life. Double Ocean Drake as well.
Well, they've decided it is time for the Baron, although Umti hasn't decided. Looks like he wanted to
he's lifestealing
tank
off the
him
Baron.
for the lifesteal, yeah. But the,
I feel like the trade
didn't
was
work.
Baron did not like that very much.
She's a bit angry.
Do you know, when it comes to a teleport, they don't really have a teleport ward set up. They could teleport onto the minions that Swain is looking to clean up for right now, but of course now that's Envision not going to happen. Looking for some picks here. They have so much damage completed, as Teddy does aptly show the force here is minimal if they don't get Gnar into the backline.
As for right now, the backline will consist of another Ocean Drake. They want another one to spawn for this Elder. We'll see what they do get up next here. The rest of the team just waiting is going to be a Mountain Drake, so we'll definitely help them out with a little bit more of the burn of the Baron.
No Infernals for Teddy to hit the crazy numbers he was before, and to be honest, no Hail of Blades. We were seeing him jump from 600 to 850 AD as the calculations, the Hail of Blades, and all the other interactions for the Jin was going on in that final game. He's very close to level 16, that third point curtain call. Jin Air continue the full court press. But do notice that MVP's gold disadvantage hasn't grown in the past 3 to 5 minutes.
Always a small worrying trend that we eventually realize. The ability for Pilot to try to carry once he gets to the later game is always a bit scary. Ian on the Swain hasn't had the biggest game this time around, but can also be scary as the game goes on.
Jin Air should look for a grouped vision mission to allow the Gnar to actually look to pressure the Mundo and then Realm Warp into the Baron Pit. We saw a great Realm Warp yesterday by Faker into the Baron Pit to allow SKT to pick up the Game 1 victory in the Telecom War. Here the Realm Warps have been a lot less of a big factor in the game, and the Gnar is frustrated because he's built purely for lane but can't actually push any further than what you see on the minimap for fear of being taken down or collapsed on by MVP.
Yeah, the defensive vision out of MVP is good. They're delaying the game quite well. I think it's going to get to a point where Jin Air just gets fed up. You know, this isn't Gen G or Afrika where they're like, okay, no 50-50 Barons. We need to do this correctly. We're willing to wait, you know, 5-10 minutes if we get the perfect Baron or the perfect pick. Jin Air might just get fed up and say, the hell with it. We're just going to go for the Baron. We don't care about you guys. So speaking of which, they're looking for the jungler, and Ipti is going to get caught out there just pushing alone to try to clear a control ward. Not recommended.
He's definitely an impulsive player, Valdez, and he shows that impulsivity by walking up without his team. No Tahm Kench, no disengage. MVP don't feel strong enough to head to the Baron straight away, but death time is 25 seconds, and he has to waddle his way back as well unless he gets a Realm Warp assistance. So MVP will clear vision and potentially buy themselves time as, okay, they're all inning as well.
Everybody in the pit, 5v the Baron, the rest of everyone. We do have the TP coming in, so they do want to commit to a 4v5 here. And Jin Air do it, lots of the damage coming on into ADD. There's the crit, the Baron is going to get low. Ian is trying to turn here, and there it is, the Baron will go over to the side of MVP. Sowan versus Pilot. Looks like someone is going to back off in the end, and nobody can get locked down here. The TP is committed to by Jin Air, but they don't fully commit to the 4v5, and then MVP picks up the Baron free.
Big mistake for Sowan to come in exhausted on the teleport. Had no Mega Gnar bar, wasn't able to do anything. Should have stayed and taken the inhibitor turret and potentially the inhibitor while Teddy, Nova, and also Grace were trying to just slow down the Baron take. Instead, they come away with nothing because of a split call around the Baron.
Yeah, definitely a bit of an awkward situation. So on going in, he's like, hey guys, what am I doing here? I guess I can auto-pilot a little bit and then be scared and run away from him once he starts fighting me. And MVP, they've opened up the game. They actually do have a chance now to come back into this one. We'll see how much of a Baron power play they can get. Right now looking for the first turret of the game.
Definitely a pocket of pollution in the air robs us of a true clean air game. Jin Air definitely mismanaging around there, all started by Omti's brashness with his face check. Remember when we think back to the draft, we said, okay, win lane, win game for Jin Air, and they did to a point for sure, 22 to 25 minutes of clean gameplay. But we also said ADD does have a role in the team fights here. He can shut down Teddy with a now level 17 Mundo. The Baron buff will buy a lot of time for MVP. So actually leveraging their team comp in what will probably have to be pretty even footing fights is not what Jin Air were looking to do about 5 minutes ago.
A little turn up towards the top side as nobody's around here. They're looking actually for this luxury turret. Will pick it up. Nice bunch of gold. hand it over to Jin Air, I suppose, as it looked like MVP just wasn't there to catch the wave.
Someone should just keep hitting ADDs. Take a while, and he has minions to clear out, but yep, he's still built purely to kill this guy.
Forces that ultimate, and you say that he's meant to kill ADD, but ADD says, no, actually, I'm Mundo. The rest of his team is also coming to back him up here, and Sowan is just incredibly low, has to flash away. Even the Abyssal Voyage committed to here just to try to save his life as well.
Damn.
That's Mundo for you.
Mundo's doing some Mundo things. I tell a lie. Apologies, Sowan. Be more respectful, apparently, is the talk right there. Have we reached that moment, Valdez, where a lot of our pre-match expectations are gone? ADD pushes up. Teddy, will he ever get true damage done in these fights? Seeming unlikely. MVP start the siege, and still 40 seconds of Baron here for MVP.
Now looking for the third turret of the game for their team. Moving as a unit now. Nothing like a Baron to get everybody on the same page. Try to push down some of these lanes. Now there's still 3 turrets behind Jin Air, but you can tell that they're trying to bite off a little bit more. The TP is going to come in here from Pilot now into the mid lane. As perhaps another inner turret into Mountain Drake wouldn't be half bad.
Jin recalling, hasn't grouped just yet, going for that last item. Gets an Infinity Edge. That's actually a pretty big buy for Teddy, but I'm not sure it'll be enough.
Well, he's going to crit Ian in the face, but look at Nova nearly dying on the backside. Is forced to stopwatch in the back there. Against all that poke that they do have, the Vision of Empire and the True Shot Barrage committed to just to try to kill him.
Perilously close now between MVP and Jin Air. MVP's teamfight comp that should never have gotten online, barring that big mistake from Umti into Jin Air, not even taking an inhibitor on the bot side. They got that second lease on life. They seem to be enjoying this one.
Not again, Umti.
Why, Umti?
Not again! Okay, he's going to flash out of that one, but...
No, that's not okay. He should not have been there.
Yeah.
He doesn't die, but it's not okay. Let's not encourage flash donations, which is what it was.
He's a very charitable man, you know? Here, take my flash. I don't need it.
How about a third game? Another thing he may have donated.
Yeah. We're definitely heading in that direction as the trend line, you can draw it, is currently up in the direction of MVP.
I'm pretty good at reading grass.
Okay.
I believe this is what we call a worrying trend.
Yes. Yes.
I think that is the technical term for it.
Worrying trend back into the hands of MVP. At least Jin Air got their 5th Drake, so if team fight goes their way, maybe even just a trade Baron for Elder. If they pick up the Elder, it wouldn't be so bad with all the elemental Drakes they have.
Will they be able to actually have map control to start that without being heavily flanked by MVP? Because suddenly, being flanked by this Mundo sounds terrifying. The Swain also has reached 4 items and has a pretty big ability to contest the backline. And getting damage out of Teddy requires someone to be chunked out first, short of the Trundle ulting someone and Grace getting a full rotation. The chunking is looking quite difficult.
Well, we might get into that situation, that ideal scenario for Jin Air, as they certainly, it was a bit of an eye-opening experience the last time that Umti got caught up, and then the time before that, where he actually died. So now they're playing really, really scared, just waiting back, saying, okay, well, we respect you now.
Someone has another Vamp Scepter. I wonder if he should have gone Rage Blade at some point to try to dunk the lane hard. It doesn't build as cleanly as some of the other items, but he's certainly having a suboptimal time in the late game against Mundo.
Yeah, I mean, after the last fight down there, too, I think he realized, like, well, unless I one-combo you before you can get your healing up, then you're just going to come back with full health once again, because you have Warmogs and your ultimate.
But you went full damage Nard to hold down the Mundo, so if you can't do that, you really do very little outside of a opportunistic ultimate with the Mega Gnar, which right now has been denied from Sowan, so he needs to find itemization to put some sort of hurt on the Mundo. And as we all know and have seen many times this season, definitely easier said than done.
Seen it this game. It's been very, very scary for the Mundo. Looks a lot more effective than in game 1. Looking towards this Baron, though, No Elder Drake just yet. This is about to spawn in 5 seconds. MVP not going to let this one go without a fight. Jin Air spot them coming in and say, well, we're going to have to take this a bit slower.
And they also have the luxury of looking at the enemy comp, seeing very low Baron damage, and saying, we don't need to face check it instantly. They can take their time a little bit. Nova going back to refresh his control wards. He's still sitting on nothing, Valdez. He still has no items. The poor, poor Tom Kench.
Yeah. QSS desperately trying to make a Knight's Vow. He's almost there.
But he has to buy the control wards every back, which is what he wants this time, rather than getting anywhere closer to finishing the Knight's Vow. MVP just camping the brush here, to control wards down. They know there's going to be no vision from Jin Air. I believe a blue trinket, the last of the blue trinkets, was used by Jin Air.
Was the case, but ADD and Ian still waiting. Someone's got to check it, but the entire team moving in. Looks like this time it's going to be the Rise, but he does get devoured. Flash it on in, and there you go. They get the Jin, and this is 100% going to be a fight to MVP. Now they get the double kill on the side of the Swain. Grey Health will save you for just a bit, but MVP, they win a huge fight. Now they're going to be looking for more.
I think MVP might have stolen the game. The minion wave's still pretty far away. Someone teleports on it to try to delay the game, but I think MVP know that if they can get a minion wave in, they might be able to just end it.
Well, a cute move here from Sohwan. You could tell that was on the same path, on the same thought, but MVP say, screw this, we'll just take the Baron, and then we'll push.
But that teleport probably stops the GG. I think they could have rolled through with how long the death timers are. They would have been cracking the inhibitor with 20 seconds left on Teddy. Instead, they will pick up a Baron. But Sohwan, an inspired teleport, does buy Jin Air at least some semblance of a final fight.
Yeah, definitely looked weird, but once you see it in action, it's like, oh wow, great move actually. Wonder whose call that was to actually go ahead and do that. Might have just been Sohwan, as it was nearly instant, and he is the captain of the team. But now the Baron is here. Second one for MVP, and they are going to bite off a lot more than the first one that they picked up.
Yeah, they can brute force pretty easily, because now Mundo just ults a Jin, and you're getting a Devour or you're getting a Jin, whichever one. Jin Air would be happier to try to sacrifice. Trundle recalls, but that's a lot of cannon minions.
You can count them. 1, 2, 3. It's hard because they're stacking on each other because there are so many, but there's the damage. You got to be careful. Even one Q to the face is going to take out nearly half your life, and with this kind of wave, they might just end the game anyway, Papa.
They're going to try. I don't really see how you kill anyone. You need to start with that Trundle ultimate. Speaking of death.
Well, ADD takes damage, but then he doesn't die because he's Mundo. Never move isn't going to hit anyone, but the gigantic push add a fourth cannon to the wave because why not? Looking for the snipes now is the Jin, but he doesn't quite have the damage with just the ultimate. They have to engage here if they don't want the game to end.
They're waiting for Sohwan to get exhausted. The Mega Gnar is gone. MVP, it's just a naked Nexus.
Pushing on in. Gonna be a little bit slow about it though. They decide, hey, we'll wait for the next wave to push in, and then maybe we'll go for it.
They've disengaged a lot of important ultimates. That Trundle on cooldown. Sohwan exhausted.
They got Grace. ADD actually taking a lot of damage. Sohwan is going to disappear. And where did the Jin go? Down they both go, and that'll be it. MVP is going to bring us into a game number 3. Couple of mistakes from Umti. We've seen this before from some junglers, but now we will have MVP winning game 2. And